Welcome to this special audio cast created by a parent for other parents. Today I am sharing a deeply personal story, one that began with challenges many of you may know all too well. It's the story of my two loving boys diagnosed with autism, struggling with dysregulation, and how those struggles impacted our family's everyday life, from sleepless nights to avoiding public places or flying on the airplane, and the remarkable steps that turn things around. This audio cast comes at the request of a compassionate school nurse who saw how this story could help other families facing similar struggles and difficulties. It's not only about the challenges, but also about hope, discovery, and the transformative power of persistence. We'll walk through the trial and error process that led to a breakthrough using CBD, along with other helpful tools and strategies. While every child is different, this episode is shared in the spirit of connection because no parent should feel alone on this journey. Whether you're here for practical tips, a glimmer of hope, or a shared experience, I hope you'll find value in what's to come. Thank you for listening, and I hope this story brings some light to your path. So I'll start. We have two wonderful boys who were diagnosed with autism around the age of 3. They were attending an elementary school in our district that had programs for kids like them. Initially, things started well, but over time, they began getting very dysregulated at school and at home more often than usual. This would lead to us, the parents, being called to pick them up or them being absent from school altogether for a considerable amount of time, which affected everybody, even them. The dysregulation didn't just happen at school. Like I said, it also happened at home. Managing their emotions became a significant challenge for us, and it affected our lives in so many ways. We couldn't go out to eat as a family because there would always be issues. We couldn't visit many public places because the kids would get dysregulated by sounds, colors, or smells. It became such a big issue that we were essentially confined to our home, always darting out of places we tried to visit. I would go into restaurants and just know at the back of my mind that I'm going to be sitting in there for just 5 minutes. I became so accustomed to that, to just sitting down and within 5-10 minutes, taking one of the kids to the car. And at times I'd stay in the car the entire time while the rest of the family were dining or whoever we went to eat out with. This was our reality. Autistic kids are more sensitive to their environments, and it could be something as simple as a sound, a smell, or something beyond our reasoning that triggers them. What bothered me actually the most was the suffering I saw in my kids. You know, all kids throw fits growing up, but this was different. I could tell this was going to affect my boys in ways I did not want, my family, my wife, my life, and most importantly, them. Fortunately, we started therapy, which helped, but even there we faced challenges. We'd often hear that when one of the boys got dysregulated, the therapist had to remove all the other kids from the room. This was all around a big issue that was deeply affecting our lives. So I decided to dive into research to find ways to make my kids' lives better. Around this time, they were also transitioning to a therapy school, so the timing actually worked well. So my research first focused on autism and how autistic kids think. And as a doctor with a PhD in business, I am trained in unbiased research, and I use those skills to dig deeper into understanding autism. Because granted, I am not a medical doctor, but my doctorate level, I believe, had trained me where I could be unbiased and research things to a perfect point, at least where I could get some answers. So I went into this field of heavy research, is what I would say, when it comes to autism. So this led me to stumble upon CBD, which has just been a game changer for us. I won't confuse anyone with the science, but I'll explain it in the simplest way I found during my research. One paper described it like this: neurotypical people think in both squares and circles, which creates balance. But for autistic kids, their thinking is more like squares all the time, rigid and linear, without flexibility of circles. CBD introduces more circles into the equation, helping create balance. And that was eye-opening because when you think of dysregulation, it's imbalance. You want regulation to be balanced. This explanation resonated with me because it made so much sense. Autistic kids often want things done in a very specific and linear way. They're time conscious and rigid in their routines. That's the square thinking. CBD helps introduce flexibility, the circles. So I started researching more on CBD. I focused on finding CBD without THC, though, the component that causes a high. Many early CBD products contain THC, so I had to do extensive research to find 100% pure CBD. And once I found a reliable source, I looped in our doctor who supported the idea. We decided to try it on a weekend to avoid any impact on school. The first time we administered CBD to the boys, we gave them a very low dose. But what happened next was incredible and mind-blowing. Both boys slept the entire day. Sleep had always been a major issue for us because they wouldn't sleep through the night. We'd often have sleepless nights as a family because one of them would get up to go use the restroom and after that just be up. And so we barely got sleep. But after that first dose, they seemed to sleep away so much frustration. When they woke up, they were calm in a way we had never seen before. It was eye-opening and it gave us a clear path forward. They just looked so relieved. So we introduced CBD into their daily routine and everything changed. Suddenly we could go out to eat as a family. We could visit public places, celebrate Halloween and walk around the neighborhood and do things we never thought possible. I mean, there was a time we were at the airport and one of them got so dysregulated that it really affected my wife. Psychologically, she was just depressed because of that. And this just did a complete turnaround. We could fly again. We could go places. And of course, finding the right dose took time because CBD doesn't have a one-size-fits-all dosage. It depends on body chemistry, so we had to observe and adjust as needed. In addition to CBD, we also use a lavender-based topical product from Amazon, which helps calm the boys. We've also incorporated a magnesium supplement called Chillax, which we learned about through research. Studies suggest that autistic kids may have magnesium deficiency, so this has been another helpful addition. All of these changes have been shared with and approved by our doctor. What I've learned is that autism is a developmental journey. It's about finding ways to help kids regulate themselves and stay balanced. Even as adults, we all have things that help us stay regulated, whether it's a hobby, reading, or something. For my boys, CBD has been a good regulator and it has transformed their lives and ours. So I encourage you to look into this. If you're experiencing any of these frustrations or any of these hard times, to consider using CBD that's 100% looping in your doctor. And what's wonderful is the therapy school, is totally bought into it. And as the boys started growing up, of course, they needed more CBD that needed to be administered at school. And the nurses have been so helpful in that, where even not at home, at school, they can get their CBD and just be living their best lives. So I hope this information was helpful. Feel free to reach out to me if you want to know the types of CBDs we use or any other therapies that we've used that has just made things much easier. I hope this was helpful, and I surely wish you the best, you and your family. Goodbye.